Hey everyone, welcome to The Blueprint, sponsored by Ethereal Collection. We have, you know what, we got a superstar in the house. Okay, not in the house, outside again. We have my man Jamaal, who actually runs Safe and Sound Stewards, which is an accounting firm that is located in Canton, New Jersey, where I rest my head. You know, powerful brother, we met each other in the Lie class. But you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you introduce who you are and what it is that you do.
Well, thanks for the beautiful introduction, Lou. My name is Jamaal Naim, and I am the CEO and managing partner of Safe and Sound Stewards. In the marketing campaign, my accountant is Black. We're located in beautiful, cutting edge Camden, New Jersey.
Cutting edge.
In the downtown district. And you know, Lou, you know, we met in the Laeta class, and
yes,
we're developing a rapport, a business relationship with a lot of other small businesses. And you know, what we're all about at Safe and Sound Stewards is community collaboration and business and financial literacy, especially in the Black and brown community and the underserved community. As you know, Camden is an urban enterprise zone and a hub zone, which is a historically underdeveloped business district. So it's very important for us to give the financial literacy to develop businesses and really get that knowledge, because the reason we're underdeveloped is education. It's not
Can you say that again?
Capability. The reason it's underdeveloped is because of education. The more educated, more financially literate we are, the more educated we are, the more developed we can be, and the more, you know, the stronger we can be as a unit. We can be united and continue to grow, you know, and we won't, and at some point we may not be underdeveloped. We may not be a zone where we're, you know, like underutilized. We might be the exact opposite.
It might be popping one day. Brothers like you, it's gonna be popping. In the very near future, I see it. Jamaal, I'm being honest with you, I see it on my social media and on some of the shows on Red Media Radio. I always talk about the fact that, yeah, I'm from Rockaway, I'm from Queens, New York, but this is where I rest my head. So I definitely want to see where I rest my head shine. You know, I mean, you'd have to be selfish, and I think, you know, on those terms of level. And I see that shirt. You want to talk about that shirt? My accountant is Black. Talk about that merch.
Okay, so you know, as the owner of Ethereal Collection, I know you can understand and appreciate swag. You know, decidedly. I was trying to be decidedly different when I. You know,
just took my whole time. I love it though.
I'm just repping you right now. You know,
I love it.
And, you know, when I created this marketing campaign, because I don't consider the merchandise line, I consider the marketing campaign, because when I created it on the premise that products sell services. You know, think about that. You know, an accounting firm, all I sell is services. Right. You know, for a lot of our community, Black folks are from the show me state. You gotta show me tangible things. We're materialists, not like materialistic, but we need to see things in physical. We need to be able to touch it. Intangible assets are not as valuable because we don't have physical assets. We don't have the things that we really need in front of us. We're used to dealing with the bare minimum. So accounting services, a system that maintains money, is no good to a broke down process that don't make money. Right. When you're making money, in order to keep the systems and the mechanisms in order to keep the cash flow there is important. But when you're not making money and you've been deprived and you don't have the knowledge base in order to get a consistent stream, who needs accounting services? So I needed to create my stream. So I created this product because I knew it was cheap. I knew people like t-shirts. I had a profound message as opposed to, so it serves a lot of purposes. Also to shed light on the fact that and this is something I just found out. Well, I knew that accounting was a white male-dominated field, but only 8.9% of accountants are black in the whole field. You know, and 65% of accountants are white. So that's just, so it's a white male-dominated field. So this is just to really shed light and give and to inspire the next generation of people that there are other ways really to get to it. There's a lot of money in this field. You can be stable, financially stable. You don't have to be an entrepreneur like me. You could work for a company and make 6 figures. You can be a CPA and make a minimum of $200,000 a year as an accountant. You know, so it's just something. I'm telling you, there's money. You can be a financial analyst. There's a lot of money in this field, and who doesn't want to be good at money? Who doesn't want to be good at understanding money? You know, so that's really where this shirt comes from. You know, just all the combination of things that I just spoke about.
You know, I love it. I didn't know that fact. I knew that, you know, as far as people of color being accountants, it was far and few between. But I like how, because it sends a message. I said the first time I saw that shirt, and I was like, that's kind of powerful right there, you know. And I'm sure you give it to your clients so they can wear it just to remind them. And also, like you said, it's marketing, you know, because it starts a conversation, you know. Why are you wearing that shirt? Well, my accountant is black. He's awesome. He does this for me. He does that for me. You know, and that might generate someone saying, well, what's your accountant's number? You understand what I'm saying?
That's super dope. Because I don't even think that's where the foresight comes in. I didn't even really think about the fact that once like, it's so thought-provoking. But once people figure out that I'm they would also be referring me to who is your accountant? But I created it, so it goes to me. Well, man, sometimes that marketing genius is like, it don't come from you. It comes from a different source. Some of the aspects around a marketing idea is even more genius than you previously anticipated.
Right. You know, what do you think? I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You're a serial entrepreneur, as you've actually said at different times during conversations we've had. What is the driving force? You know, because again, in our communities, we find that everybody wants to be a rapper, a basketball player, all the things that the media says, hey, go for this carrot, even though it's going to be really, really hard to get this carrot. Don't focus on the things that can actually bring value to others and your community. So what was that driving force for you?
Well, for me, man, it stemmed from just 2 inspirations, you know. I wanted to be an accountant because of my uncle Keith, who was an accountant and who is an accountant. You know, he had a nice house. You know, he was the man. You know, he was a big part of my family, and you know, everyone around him just really embraced what he was doing. He was always financially stable, always there to help, always there as a mentor and a guide in my life. That's the accounting aspect. As an entrepreneur, my father played a big role. You know, he sold pocketbooks and clothing and merchandise in the 90s. Bought my you know, working for himself, we bought our first family home. You know, I seen him vend. I seen him travel to Atlanta and Las Vegas and go to vending events. I seen him go from barbershop to beauty salon to nail salon and grind every day. And I went with him some days. He would have me in there being cute, trying to market the product. So I seen that. It's in my blood. So it's something that, you know, I know is in me, and that grind is, you know, is sustained, and those inspirations are like the reason why I'm still at it trucking.
You know what? That's great. And it's a beautiful thing when you have people, especially people in your family, that can become mentors, that can drive your path. not even drive your passion, but unlock your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because in our communities, it's hard to unlock the passion. The focus is on I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and that leaves very, very little room for passions and dreams and goals and aspirations. The journey to becoming an accountant, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want to be an accountant," but you've given so many reasons why being an accountant is good. Buying first home, being comfortable, being the one that can actually help. Okay, these are the important things. If you become a basketball player, you might get a contract for a few $1 million. However, what are the chances if you look at the sheer numbers of you becoming that,
right.
LeBron?
It's a lot more probable to become an accountant than it is to become an NBA basketball player. I tell you that.
Exactly. So there had to be a journey. There had to be a climb. Everything begins with taking action and work. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey from Jamaal learning from his uncle and father, seeing that it can be done, and then taking that upon yourself and saying, okay, I need to take these steps to realize my dream?
Okay, well, I'll say that the journey of my actualization into what I wanted to do and my purpose started. I'm from Lindenwold, New Jersey, so it started in Lindenwold, just being in high school, seeing, my older brother and my older sister, they were excellent students, much better students than me. I was a decent student, but they were much better. They were both senior class presidents when they were seniors. My sister was a senior class president when I was a freshman in high school. So I had great, I had shoulders to kind of stand on, but I had big shoes to fill, and so, when I was in high school, I took accounting, and I'll never forget it. Mr. Rossetti, he introduced me to this program called the Accounting Career Awareness Program, ACAP. It was ran and hosted by NABA, National Association of Black Accountants. Okay. It was in Newark, New Jersey, at the college that I ended up going to, Rutgers, Newark. And 5-day residency. I lived on. I interviewed, and then when I got into the program, I lived in the dorm for 5 days with co-ed kind of thing. We went to classroom breakout sessions, and that opened my eyes to just finding out how much money they make, how you could be a financial advisor, how you could, you could be an auditor, you could be a tax preparer, you could be so many forensic accountant, so many different avenues that you can go. It's not just one avenue. And once I seen that, I ended up going to Rutgers. I ended up becoming the vice president of NABA. I ended up working, on my chapter. Vice president.
Still, that's an accomplishment that needs to be saluted.
Yeah, I mean, it was the progression of things. Then I ended up working for one of the big 4 accounting firms. I won't name drop them because they ain't giving me a check. But I work. This is.
They're not giving you a check no more.
They my competition now. I own my own firm.
Okay.
We stepping it up. So I worked there. That was great. International assignment services. I did international tax. Foreign bank account reporting. All of that. Got a lot of experience. Really learned the game. Worked. I worked public, where I worked for economic development organization, kind of like LAEDA, up in New York for a while. Learned about the UEZ, which, as you know, I work right now, with the Urban Enterprise Zone program. I try to help my businesses, if they're in Camden, get involved in the Urban Enterprise Zone and take advantage of those tax benefits. Yeah. You pay half off sales tax if you collect sales tax from your clients. And up until today, man, I formed Safe and Sound Stewards in 2020. I launched My Account is Black in 2021. 2 days ago would be the anniversary of when My Account is Black was first launched.
Well, happy anniversary!
Yeah, man. It launched a big. It was like that propelled my business to where it is today. Got my first corporate office November of last year. I've been here ever since. This office has elevated my game, elevated my services. My website is up to snuff. Business cards, brochures, the whole nine. And right now, I'm operating in the faith that I'm going to continually be a going concern and continue to serve this community and abroad and beyond it. So, you know, we here, man. We talking to Ethereal Collection.
I love it. You know what I want to do is I want to take a quick break, and we're going to jump in, and you know, there's a couple points that you brought up that I'm very interested in. Is, you know, building on the community. You know, I think that's very, very important, and I think a lot of business owners need to take, you know, some time out of their day to basically build on the community that they serve. You know, whether it be businesses or clients, or even the big thing this week has been relationships for the morning grind, children, you know. So we're going to take a quick break. Is that all right with you?
Sounds good.
And we're going to jump right back in.
Ethereal Collection.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
Ethereal Collection, the fashion line inspired by Red Media Radio.
All right, we are back. The blueprint, we're talking to Jamaal. Jamaal, awesome mindset. I love that. I think I heard you say in class one time, and let me know if I'm wrong, that, you know, there's never a plan B. There's never a plan B. And that resonated. For our listeners, can you explain what that means and what that mindset is about?
Well, that mindset in general, and that mindset for me, they're synonymous. So in general, like if you're going into business, like kind of how we talking about with the young men or the young women who aspire to do anything, you got to be all in, right? You got to be heavily invested. And you got to really want it. You know, you got to want to be in it, and you can't. You know, you got to be able to say that I'm doing this whether it gives me a return on investment or not. Because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, if you don't get a return on investment, that should be very common. As a small business, we don't have a big time marketing businesses. We don't have a big time marketing firm pushing our products, ensuring success. You know, manipulating the minds of the masses, making people feel as though that product they need, even though they really don't. Yeah. So when you're a small business, you market, your campaigns could hit or miss, and you gotta literally every time you launch a campaign, which you have to launch a campaign if you want to be a successful business, you got to see what you did right, what you did wrong. And that's why you got to be all in, because you're not always going to get it right. And in fact, it's designed for you to launch campaigns, lose money. For the first 2-3 years, you should not expect to make a positive return on your investment. But, you know, like, so if you're not all in, then once you see that it's like, this is like a boat with a hole in it, you'll give up. But if you're all in, then you know that it's the long game. It's what you're creating. It's the brand that will have equity that in 10 years, it's like, dang, this dude's still pounding the pavement. He's still pushing My Account is Black 5-10 years later. He's still pushing Ethereal Collection. He's still pushing Red Media Radio. this late in the game, like, what's propelling him? Like, I'm inspired. And that's when the investors are going to come. That's when the grant money is going to come from the state and the SBA, because you've been open and they got to give money out. Like, they have to. So eventually, that if you didn't get working capital your first year, year 5, once you got the game plan, you got your business plan, you got your marketing campaign, you got access to capital. Now it's like, look, that was the reason why you're all in. Not that people want these immediate results that never happen. You got to be all in, because if you're not, you miss out on the long term. I'm staying, and I know you staying in entrepreneurship until it pays off the way that you need it to.
Or the wheels
and once it does, go ahead. You can work that job until it whatever. You can make somebody else rich. I'd rather make a nickel for myself than $1 for somebody else. You know what I mean?
So that's deep right there. That is real talk. You know, there's a couple of things that once again have resonated with me. Business, you know, and a lot of people don't realize this, because we live in a world of instant gratification. We, you know, especially the last 2 years, we've been taught or brainwashed into believing that everything has instant gratification, which the reality of the world that we live in, there's no such thing as instant gratification.
Right.
It's going to take work, you know, and I think this generation of young people, once it becomes work, it's no longer fun. You understand what I'm saying? Now I no longer want to do it. Or once they fail, they don't know how to brush themselves off, get back up, and say, let me just get back in there. So I think that's an important message that you leave for our youth, that you left for our youth, is that, you know, it's going to take work. Rome wasn't built in a day. The pyramids weren't built in a day. It takes work. It takes consistent work. It takes steady work. And, you know, as you give this message of financial literacy, and we're going to get you on for a show. We definitely we talked about this. We're going to get you on for a financial literacy show. How do you throw your hat in the ring as far as, I mean, you touched base on it during our conversation, but how do you literally throw your hat in the ring of helping people with financial literacy?
Well, many different ways. You know, as you know, people come to accountants like myself for advisement, you know, and for one, I'm in the Camden, man. I do a lot of pro bono conversations where I'm just dropping knowledge, dropping my gems, taxes, and business formation. Where are you at? I'll do an assessment, won't necessarily charge it. And all of that is just, that's the literacy right there. You know, sometimes people think it's this extremely technical. Oh, how to depreciate the assets. What are you know, the you know, in our class, what does a cash flow statement do? What is a business balance sheet? What's it? Now, if I'm preparing one of those financial statements for you, I can kind of help you understand the mechanisms of it, and what the trends look like, and I can project into the future. I can create some financial records and then explain how your money's looking. But sometimes it's just the simple things, and what's simple to me might not be simple to somebody else. That's what I'm beginning to realize. I went to school for accounting, and I'm still studying accounting every day. So what's very simple to me, like, I'm studying for my CPA. Like, so the things that I consider simple, you know, might not be simple to someone else. And I have to, like, sometimes I got to take myself out of my position in order to realize that sometimes I'm dropping gems when I'm saying the below the base level of what I think business owners know. So financial literacy, I just speak it honestly. Like, my natural conversation is financially literate, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. You know, and I don't want people to get it twisted, especially if you're in the area. You know, this is a business, you know, and a lot of people do get it twisted where they think, well, you know it, but nobody ever thinks about the work that was taken to have said knowledge. You know, the late night studying, the pouring through books for days and days and days until you get it. You know, and that seems to be a trend. I belong to a lot of business groups on social media, and everybody is saying, just give me the answer. I don't want to do work, you know. And it's kind of unfair to the professionals that actually have knowledge. So if someone is sharing,
it's fair. It's fair to them because that's how we keep a job. You just gotta pay us for the knowledge,
right? But see, and I understand that point, and I'm not being selfish, but I don't want to find professionals like yourself in a position of everybody wants to just take. You know, you have to go out there at some point and support these businesses. You know, if you're starting a business, more than likely you're going to need an accountant. You know,
yeah.
If you start and you feel you don't need an accountant, as your business grows, you will see that you will need an accountant. You know, yeah. You have to go out there and support these businesses because, like, what was the number you gave? 8.9% of accountants are black. Mm-hmm. Am I correct in saying that? You know, so you know, if you constantly are in our communities, we call it the hookup. Okay, the hookup is not a good look. It's not a good look because we run into these firms, we run into these stores, they tell us the price, they put the price in the thing, we take out a card, we swipe it, we go home. But in our communities, we feel like, well, Jamaal has the knowledge, why doesn't he just share it with me? Well, Jamaal has bills. Jamaal has office space. Jamaal needs to continually study, and these courses are, for the most part, not free. You know, so you have to, at some point, we as a community have to look at the reality of, because black businesses in most communities don't survive past a year. You know, and it's not like they don't have their target audience right there. It's just that everybody's looking for the hookup, and when they don't get the hookup, they start to feel a certain way. You know, do you find that somewhat?
Yo, I think you hit on a good point. I think there's I think the hookup not only is bad for the businesses like the accountants and the financial professionals, but the hookups can kind of be bad for the business owners themselves. For one, when you know there's a psychological effect, and this goes into financial literacy too. There's a psychological effect when you spend money for a specific service. There's expectations that come with it. I'll give a great example. My girl Sheena from our class. She's a great supporter of Safe and Sound Stewards, and my account is black. When she pays for a service, she sees the job to its end. She sees that I am on the up and up, and did my business registration, did my minority business certification come in? Did my small business certification, my minority woman business? She can ask that. She can, in lack of a better term, pester me because she paid. Yeah. If you get the hookup, right? Okay. You can't pressure somebody about something, and you didn't. You gonna pressure me about something you didn't pay me to do? You can't do it. There's no psycho. So the psychological effect is not only on the payer, but it's on the person who's receiving the pay, because now we both know that you paid me. Right. If we both know that you paid me, you operate with leverage. You operate with I can, not like you would sue somebody over $100 service. But it's the expectation. Yeah, the expectation, and if you are a good business owner, you know, if you want your reviews to be good, if you want to maintain that reputation that you are delivering high quality service, that you are reliable, that you are attentive, that you are punctual and you're timely with your services, then you will have to do the work. But if no one helps you, one, you can't maintain a living, you always expecting someone to leech. You're never gonna put in the time, the effort. You always there's a lot of clients that I have where we just have like this honor system where, yeah, I'm supposed to do something that I did for Sheena, but it's like for the love. So it's like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it, because it's based off of, all right, well, you know, whatever kind of arrangement we have, which it means it's not on a high precedent. You're also not asking about it because you know, if you slid me some money, maybe it'll get done a little faster. You know what I mean?
And grease the wheels.
Yeah, there's some cons to the hookup that are greater than what meets the eye. You get the free service, but do you get the high quality service?
Right.
Do you get all of the financial stewardship that I can provide?
It's only fair because, again, you know, this is something that I tell my kids all the time. I've never heard a magical leprechaun knock on the door and grant me powers to understand the things that I do. I had to go out there and take the time. So while people were out partying, while people were doing them, while people were doing nothing, this is how I spent my time. So I need a return on investment for my time. It's beautiful that you do teach financial literacy. I've heard conversations, you know, within earshot where you're speaking, you're dropping those gems, you're dropping those jewels that someone can use. However, we have to start supporting businesses that are started by our Black and brown families. You know, we can't continue this whole, I'm not going to ask questions from those of European descent because in my mind, I've been brainwashed into thinking they're established. They might not be as established as you think. Right. You're looking on the outside picture and assuming this, whereas you have a person like yourself who's been doing this for years, who has a track record, who is able to give back to the community. And, you know, they may look at you and say, he's only been open for 2 years, but you're not looking at the backstory. You're not looking how that 2 years actually begun. Does that make sense?
Right. You're not looking at the whole resume. You're not looking at my past experience at accounting firms.
Right.
Working as a staff accountant. You're not looking at my college study in accounting. Like
there you go.
I studied accounting in high school. You know, so it's like I took my first accounting class in 2010.
Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you this, Lou. I'll tell you this. When I was a freshman in college, everything, like the reason that I got an A in my first accounting class in college is because I sat on top of the knowledge that I learned in high school. I didn't have to study super hard.
Wow.
I learned it already.
Wow.
I learned that stuff in 10th grade. It's the same, like accounting is accounting. It's the same knowledge. You see how I'm always a shiner in class when it comes to accounting based classes. It's the same. It's the same information. It's the same information. You can't.
Numbers don't really
change.
Yeah, numbers really don't change. Maybe the way they're entered in changes, but numbers will always be numbers. Basically, facts. You know, it's a beautiful thing. What I want to do is I want to take a break and then we want to discuss next levels. How's that sound? Sounds good? All right, let's go. All right. All right, here we are back at the Blueprint, presented in part by Ethereal Collection. Jamaal, you have dropped so much wisdom. I wish I was like 30 years younger and I could just learn just a small amount of what you have learned. And I don't say that in a shady way. I respect, you know, your grind and I respect your knowledge.
I appreciate that.
Well, you know, it goes without saying, you know, when real recognizes real. You know what I'm saying? And you actually have a service that you can bring to the community. I think you actually do notary as well. And I mean, that is not a great, big, grand thing, but at the same time, it's needed. You're local within the Kansas community. You know, you're in a safe area where people can get their paperwork notarized.
Right.
You know, and yeah, some accountants do take that up. You can go to an accountant office. There's someone that sits in the corner office that does that. But you switch the focus to saying, hey, how can I bring even more value to this community, and that's one of the ways. So what are some of the things that, not that you have in the words, but as far as next levels, you know, what, you know, be it community, be it yourself, be it the business, I mean, what are you looking at as far as next levels? And you're gone. I have no clue where you just went. You still with me? There you go.
No, I'm over here, so I just couldn't hear you a little bit. Are you saying what's next?
Yeah, what's next? And there's always a next level. My viewpoint is this: once you reach 75% of your goals, you should start automatically looking at the next level.
Right. Yeah, for sure, man. The next level is just to continue to grow. You know, to continue to establish the brand, to stay as vigilant in this community. Excuse me, to be able to compete with my competitors, like really to tap into some of this working capital that's out in the economy, help other small businesses get access to capital, whether it be grant funds, whether it be, you know, low interest loans, whether it be getting bids, helping. Like, I'm a loan packer too, like help apply.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, because that's what I do. I apply, like I help businesses apply for all the stuff that I do are just applications all day. Whether I'm filing your paperwork, I file for a certification, or apply for a grant on your behalf through the NJEDA or through the UEC or through the SBA. Or, you know what I mean? I just help people with that paperwork. People don't like the paperwork. I know the jargon. I know the jargon. You know, I know the jargon. I know if you are prepared and if your business is in the position in order to tap into them, to these like grants and stuff, and I'm helping businesses do that, and just helping businesses maintain so I can maintain. You know, like, so that's really what it is. I definitely want. I'm definitely looking for an employee in this next 12 months.
Okay.
Just like I got interns, you know, unpaid and stuff, and I'm working with businesses. I work with a payroll provider. You know, I'm helping in certain aspects, but I'm really looking to kick it up and get an employee a sharp one. You know, not somebody that I'm gonna have to overlook, but a self-starter. And to really spread this Safe and Sound Stewards gospel. Really think of some ideas on how to grow this brand. Maybe maybe even work with you on getting some graphics.
That would be a powerful combination, my brother. That would be a powerful combination.
You know, we could definitely have a conversation on how to grow, you know, and grow this brand, make it a little more appealing to maybe the younger generation. You know, like I'm realizing I was a young chap and I was super hip, you know, but you know, with knowledge comes just like a little, you lose, and wisdom, you lose a little of that youth, you know, so maybe I'm not as in tune.
Called responsibility.
You know, like, yeah, responsibility, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm not as in tune with the younger generation and what they find cool, you know, and so I wouldn't mind having a younger person who's sharp and who can also be versatile and still work on some bookkeeping, some tax prep, help me with marketing, and, you know, maybe
while they're learning. While they're learning. While they are learning. They're learning from you. You know, the person that you speak of that you're bringing on, you would, in a sense, be their mentor. When I had day jobs, there were a couple of directors that I kind of considered my mentors. You know, first of all, you actually watch over the whole country, and I answer you, and everybody in my field answers to you. You know, how did you get there? You know, what steps were taken? And I learned a lot. I would just ask, we'd be in the middle of conference calls, I just ask them a weird question to everybody else, but it's the growth. And it's important that if you get a young person, that you allow them the capability to grow, not only mentally and knowledge-based, but, you know, business acumen. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you, just like you had your uncle and your father, you can actually be that person. that people actually look up to. Like I said, I listen to your conversations. I hear what you say to our classmates and stuff like that. You're in a great position to mentor someone. Does that make sense? I mean, or you just don't want to do that?
No, I would. I guess it just dawned on me like that you're right. You know, I guess for me, like the transformation of me being a young man to me being a not so young man, it didn't dawn on me like what comes with that. You know what I mean? I'm 27. I'll be 28 in a month. So you know, I
were you just trying to be shady there? No, just
you know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, it was a point where, who could I really mentor? I was the young buck. But I realized that I'm getting to an age where mentorship, and I tried, you know, but, you know, it didn't dawn on me till you kind of just said that. Like, that there's a lot of work that I can do, you know, in that aspect.
Yes, definitely. Hey, listen, I want people to visit your website. You have a Facebook page. I want people to get to know you better because you do actually bring a lot to the table for not only business owners, but hell, if people are having tax problems, you know, you might be the easiest person to talk to getting it figured out. You know, so what's your website? Social media link, professional link, address of your business.
Right. Well, everything is Safe and Sound Stewards. www.safeandsoundstewards.com. On Instagram, I'm at Safe and Sound Stewards, and that is SafeandStewards. That's Safe and Sound Stewards. That's at Safe and Sound Stewards on Instagram. Okay. At my account is Black on Instagram.
Okay.
I won't give you my personal Instagram, but
this is the blueprint. We're talking about business and how you value. So I'm sure they can find
Facebook. And lastly, on Facebook, I'm at Safe and Sound Stewards, but it's attached to Jamaal Naim on Facebook. Safe and Sound Stewards. And yeah, I mean, you can find me on Google and everything. You can find my corporate office, 111 North 6th Street. I'm actually gonna do that. Look, this is it. Right above.
Yeah, I love that shop.
About La Unique Bookstore. I'm right up above. You see these two windows? This is my office right here. 111.
Okay.
Right next to the 6th Street Lounge.
I've never been in there.
Yeah, good. Good. No need. You know. Keep your liver.
Nobody's business. Is just not.
Somebody say keep your liver and kidneys intact. I mean, I've been there a few times, but you know, they got good food. They got good chicken in the back. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! You know what? I had a blast with this interview. I can't wait till the video aspect comes out the following week. I want to thank you because I definitely appreciate your time. Time is one thing we never get back, cannot be recycled. So I definitely appreciate your time speaking with the Red Media Radio family. And we have to talk about you getting that financial literacy show. You know, yeah, I think you would be
coming.
Great.
We done had a few conversations. It's coming, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. So make sure that you check out Safe and Sound Stewards. I'm going to definitely suggest that if you're thinking of starting a business, or you have a new business, or you're just trying to understand, you know, which avenues you have, that you contact Safe and Sound Stewards, aka my accountant is Black, and start a conversation. Everything actually begins with a conversation. You know, you might find that he may bring a ton of value to what you do, or he might just keep you from making a few mistakes along the way that can be easily avoided. Anything that you want to sign off with our listeners about?
Man, I just want to thank you for having me. Thank anyone for listening, you know, and just thank the Lord for purpose, you know, and encourage everybody to stay the course, you know. God bless.
That's what's up. Thank you so much, my brother. Hey, listen, Make sure you keep it locked right here on redmediaradio.com. Okay, nothing but fire as you just saw. We will see you next week with Ethereal Collection presents The Blueprint. You already know. Love you guys. Jamaal, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thanks, brother.